19th. I'm Rim.
I'm Scott.
And this is Geeknights. Tonight, Scott Pilgrim, the movie.
Let's do this.
I think I'm done buying stuff in person ever. I gave the physical world the benefit of the doubt today. I needed new patch cables. We bought the new Firewire thing and Geeknight stuff, and I need all new, balanced quarter-inch patch cables to do my full setup the way I want. And I figure I'll just stop at Sam Ash or the row over there with all those different audio stores.
You mean the road that's right outside my work? I don't even have to cross the street to get to it?
Yeah, so I figured I'd go over there and just see if I could find what I needed physically. Because, one, supporting local business, and two,
it's not a local business. Sam Ash is a mega chain.
Well, I went to all the other audio stores around there, too.
Those are mostly just guitar repair guys.
No, they actually all have the same kind of stuff, usually cheaper.
I know, I walk there every day. I don't really see any other stores that sell that besides Sam Ash.
All right, well, you're wrong, but regardless, none of them had anything even close to what I needed, and I don't think what I need is that weird. So I looked on Amazon, plenty. I'm done. I'm just not going to stores anymore.
Well, I mean, your cables, you probably should have gone to Monoprice.
No, Monoprice isn't really good for audio stuff like that.
What are you talking about?
I need 90-degree to 90-degree balanced quarter-inch cables.
Did you look?
Yeah.
On
Plus,
Monoprice?
Monoprice was the one that had their whole customer database compromised, credit cards and everything. So
Who cares? What's going to happen to you?
I could get my credit card number stolen, be a pain in the ass.
And then you go to the website for your credit card, you push one button, and then you fix it.
Yeah, it'd still be a pain in the ass. I also don't want to support...
yeah, that's right. Coming from you, the person's a pain in the ass to even just do a Google search.
I also don't want to support a business that has shoddy IT.
Well, you know what? They have $2 cables, so yeah.
Yeah, they don't have the kind of cables I need specifically. I did find what I need, because I could get away with using adapters.
I have a feeling you didn't even look.
I did. But adapters, the kind of adapters we're using now, are what caused Scott's
how do you know?
in the past. Because I tested it. I found the bad adapter.
Are you 100% confident?
Yeah, there might be.
I know there was a show when we just started.
Yeah, and I think that's a different problem.
When we got all these problems.
We've had a lot of them for
You're
a while.
replacing a whole lot of parts, but the problem
What
is
have I
still
replaced?
here.
Scott, what have I replaced?
Replace XLR cable.
All right, and you know what? The one I replaced was broken. I threw it away. It doesn't work. The soldering all came out in one of the ends.
It's probably because you stepped on it.
Actually, no, it was yours, and it was broken at your microphone end. So
no, I'm saying you stepped on it after. You replaced it. Just like you did with your DS and such.
The DS I dropped while I was playing Pokemon.
On purpose.
Yeah, I broke my DS on purpose to buy another DS.
Yeah, just like you broke the XLR cable on purpose to make you feel good about buying another XLR cable.
You realize, had my DS not broken, Daddy 2 PP. Why would Daddy only want one PP when he could have had two? But that aside, we're bringing Carl Custer's coming over tomorrow, and we're gonna do some audio stuff.
Okay.
I'm gonna use him to recalibrate. I'm about halfway through recalibrating all the new equipment. And once they get the new patch cables, I can finish that. But,
you and your nonstop calibrating.
All right, you want me to
Maybe you should do something. Calibrating is important, but you know what's more important?
Getting the flight for John St. John to come to the PAX Late Show and be our guest.
That's a good thing
I
to
got
do.
that. You saw my email.
All right. You know what else is more important?
Let's see. Getting the musical act for the Late Show, which I totally covered.
All right. You know what's more important than, less important than the Late Show, but more important than calibrating?
I don't know, Scott. What?
I don't know, any of the 5 or 6 things you need to do, get e-commerce.
E-commerce is low on my list right now.
Pay me money that you owe me.
You owe me a lot of money too. You owe me thousands.
But all right, so you haven't even calculated what I owe you though.
It's over 2,000. I know that.
I know how many pennies you owe me exactly. All right. So if we went to court, I could probably fight and say, look, he doesn't even have records of how much I owe him. I don't owe him shit.
You know what? I never signed any debt agreements with you. It'd be word against word. So
yeah, it would be word. Well, it would be word and accounting documentation and receipts versus word.
Yeah, go to small claims court. But the thing is, I'm pretty sure that I do. In the end, I'll owe you money instead of you owing me. But it's not going to be more than $1,000 or so. I think. You owe me a lot of hotel rooms and some flights.
That is true, but it does not mean you should.
Yeah.
This is very important, more important than calibrating. But you haven't done it in.
Why is it that important?
Because you owe me some fucking money.
How about I'll just give you like, I don't know, $3,000. We'll call it even.
Okay.
Oh, so you're okay with just glossing over the details?
Well, it's because the total that I've calculated is not much more than $3,000. So if I can get $3,000, sure.
But there's an
even.
unknown factor. You're taking a big risk on what my calculation is.
What do you mean? Even if your calculation was 0, $3,000 is fine.
Yeah, but you owe me hotel rooms since the Katsucon
you don't even
before.
know. You
No,
don't have it. You don't have it recorded.
actually, yeah, I do. It's the Katsucon before the last Katsucon we went to.
So the one I was sick at.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because that was the second to last one we went to.
So you just admitted how long it's been, and you're the only one holding up this operation.
Yeah, it's been for fuck ever, and I'm a lazy ass.
It's all right. So lazy you can't even click a link to fix your credit card or do a Google search.
My credit
Just
card's
doing-
not broken. I would rather
clicking-
avoid.
Clicking one link is so hard. Oh, Rim, you can't be bothered to click one link.
So, Scott, you got any news?
It's sort of it normally would be thing of the day material, but I'm gonna pretend that this is a new development or discovery and call it a news. But anyway, somebody found some coprolites. Do you know what coprolites are?
I have no idea.
It's basically a poop fossil.
Oh, okay.
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 So
It took me a minute to parse all those words together to figure out what you really meant.
yeah, so someone found some poop fossils,
All right.
and the poop fossils have shark teeth marks in them, right? Which
So clearly the sharks tried to eat the poop.
well, the thing is, right? If the shark ate the poop, how come the poop is in one piece?
Shark failed?
Well, no. Why did the shark didn't eat the poop? It bit the poop, and then
It tried to eat it, realized it was poop, and went, oh shit, it's poop.
no, not at all.
All right.
So the thing is, it's like okay, we know the shark didn't eat the poop.
Did
right?
someone make a shark tooth weapon and hit the poop?
No, these are old fossils. These are like extinct sharks that are like ancestors of tiger sharks.
All right. So did some dinosaur make a stick?
It's not
and
that
stick-
old.
Okay.
Do you know why here's the theory.
Clearly, I do not know.
Here's the theory on why the sharks bit the poop and it's kind of awesome. You ready?
Bit the poop.
The pattern of the bite marks and the fact that the feces were not ingested is consistent with a reconstruction in which, during an attack on another animal, the shark bit through the body into the guts and left tooth impressions or bit the intestines after disemboweling the prey and left the tooth marks on the poop in that manner.
Huh.
But then didn't actually, of course, eat the poop. And then the poop fell out of the intestine, and then, it had the shark's tooth mark in it, and then turned into a poop fossil.
That's some fine detective work there, Lou.
Coprolite.
That's your news?
Yeah, I gotta give me some coprolites.
What, put them on the wall?
Yeah, it'd be awesome. People are like, oh, what's that? I'd be like, that is a coprolite.
That
look
is
how
something awesome.
Look how smart I am. Why don't you touch it? Lick it. How you lick poop. Now here's something I don't understand. This is probably gonna sound really stupid, right?
All right.
All right, the poop fossil, the coprolite, it looks like a rock, right?
My poop kind of looks like a rock. It's just brown.
No. I mean, look at it. It's a rock. It's not. I mean, is it a poop that
What
gets?
kind of girly poop do you have? Mine is like a boulder.
Well, I'm saying is like, is it a poop that gets hard over time, or is it like there's a rock that forms around a poop, and then the fossil is the rock?
If it's a fossil, it's probably been replaced with minerals.
Okay, so there was a poop that got replaced with a rock.
Kind of like petrified wood, I guess.
Yeah, but it's not actually the poop. It's not actually an old poop. It's actually
It's an object in the shape of an old poop.
Yeah. Okay. Good. All right. That's what I just wanted to confirm that.
Kind of like a shaped charge in a bomb. It's a shaped poop.
Yeah. It's not. But like a dinosaur egg is actually a dinosaur egg.
Is it? Or is it also fossilized? Do you know?
I don't know.
Okay. So
I'm
I
a
got
computer
something-
scientist, not an archaeologist.
I got something that'll generate, I think, more interesting. Well, interesting in a more academic sense discussion. So there was a law in California, in Rosedale, California. The law was since struck down by courts, and I don't know what happened beyond that. But the law was interesting because it says a lot about where we as humans have become, or have gotten to. The law prohibited in malls. It was actually a policy in this like shopping district.
All right.
If you cannot approach a stranger, someone with whom you do not have a pre-existing or current relationship, and proceed to engage with them in any conversation that is not directly related to the mall or its well-being.
Okay.
Now, here's the
That's kind of
purpose.
I don't think that law is constitutional.
Now, why not? Because the rationale for the law was people were in this space, this private space,
Mm-hmm.
and they were constantly annoyed by strangers who would come up to them and try to peddle or solicit. Or, and here's the trouble. They would mostly be religious people trying to convert you, which wasn't, in fact, like, it didn't count as busking or anything.
Well, here is the way you worded it, at least. Obviously, that wasn't the actual wording of the law.
The law was pretty close to that. The law was
but
pretty
the law,
poorly written.
as you spoke, right? You couldn't converse with people. Now, the thing is, that would be a freedom of speech infringement, and Congress shall make no law. And you said this was a law, right? Right? So that would be unconstitutional in the eyes of Scott Rubin. However, they could have easily, and I would have been no problem if the law simply said, you may not solicit, because that is a regulation of commerce. And as we know, the Commerce Clause allows, anyone in any level of government, has the ultimate right to regulate commerce, period.
So here's the trouble
So
with
they
all
could have
that.
just banned all commercial speech amongst strangers while allowing all other non-commercial forms of speech.
Here's the trouble. The law is poorly written, and that's kind of a separate issue, I think. The fact that societies and people, especially in America, will identify, like a community will say, X is a problem.
Mhm.
And they'll say, we should do something about X. And they all agree. And they will, without fail, write the most vague, horrifying, constitutionally laughable law they can.
They could have just banned all commercial speech by people who are not renting in the mall. And in fact, if the mall is privately owned, the mall could just make a mall rule and have their own security guards.
But from what I can gather from
it.
locals, the impetus of the law, the reason for this rule, was that there were religious people walking up to people and just starting conversations.
Well, that's another problem, is that religion is a special thing, and in fact, it should be classified as commerce because they shouldn't be nonprofit or given special nonprofit status.
Yeah, they should be nonprofit.
But
That can be totally okay.
But even so, nonprofit commerce is commerce.
Yeah.
So therefore, you could have banned the religious speech along with the commercial speech, but the First Amendment actually has the word religion in it, and that makes that difficult to do.
And the other problem...
But if I was in charge, I would amend that.
So the other problem that was designed to deal with is annoying locals and homeless people who would just bother people, but not in such a way that they wouldn't, like, stalk them or yell at them or scream at them, just come up and kind of talk at you in a really annoying way.
Say, go away.
All right, and they kind of, maybe they do, maybe they don't, but they keep bothering everyone in the mall.
At that point, they're harassing and or assaulting, or who knows, there is some other law you could put into effect or have rules without laws of the mall, and the mall security guards could do it, to handle that. You don't need to have police and an extra law where an existing law or an amendment to an existing law will probably suffice.
So what if the mall had just had its own policy of no talking to strangers no matter what, inside our private property?
They could do that if they
wanted
wanted
to. No, they can't.
to.
The court said they can't.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. But here's another semi-related thing. So I took New Jersey Transit.
I mean, because if I have a house, right,
home
I could just
from
say anyone who comes to my
shore
house, no talking.
And did you hear anything I said?
Yeah, you went to the shore. You brought something home.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I had to go back from New Brunswick.
Oh, right.
Which New Brunswick smells to such a degree pervasively that I would be very happy as a human being if I never in my life have to return to New Brunswick.
I think you're conversing New Brunswick for New Jersey.
No, because there are nice parts of New Jersey. And there are parts of New Jersey that do not smell the way New Brunswick smells.
All right, so where are these places?
South Jersey smells nice.
That is not South Jersey. That is Delaware.
I just said South Jersey smells nice.
There's
like Wildwood.
no, that's Delaware.
That's Delaware?
Yeah.
Why don't we just make it part of New York? Why don't we just take it?
No, that's North Jersey.
No, but then it's like some sad borough. We don't want that. It's like Staten Island, the smelly borough.
No,
in the
we're only
corner.
taking the part that's directly. We're only taking like Englewood and those areas and the Meadowlands.
So regardless, from New Brunswick, I had to get on New Jersey Transit, which, despite
Sucks.
being far closer to the city than Trenton, the train took about the same amount of time to get home from there than it would have from Trenton.
Yeah, pretty much only the path is useful. The Jersey Transit is basically Metro North minus.
The SEPTA was better than the New Jersey Transit, though the train itself was comfortable, but everything around the train was disgusting.
Yeah, you just take the path, dude.
So, New Brunswick, and I'm reading the sign, and there is a new policy on New Jersey Transit. It's an experimental policy. There are, during all commuter times on every train now, quiet cars. Motherfuckers can't talk, use cell phones, do anything that makes noise.
Why did Metro North have that shit?
I know, but in a way, it's the same thing. Look at what's happening here. And this happens all over more and more. People are making, like, society can no longer deal with itself. And people, rather than kind of having social pressure to change social mores around them, they would rather legislate or have rules. Because think about it. Shouldn't people just get the fact that, all right, it's 4 a.m, maybe I should be quiet on the train where everybody else is sleeping?
No, because we have freedom. You can't tell me what to do. So, and that's, I guess you don't want to give that up, right?
Yeah, but at the same time, freedom comes with the responsibility to use your freedom responsibly.
Yes, but we have also, here's the problem, right? We have given people the freedom, right? And at the same time, we have taken away your right to hit somebody. So, therefore, if someone's being a jerk, you can't do anything about it. Like when I was in that barbershop with the really racist guy.
Ah, yeah.
Right? You can't do shit.
So what's better?
We can either get rid of the law and let us hit each other, or we can legislate to force people to shut the fuck up.
I'm going to use a penduletism. The law is just government hitting in your place.
Yes, but it is not actually knocking teeth out and making dentists mad bank. So it's maybe saving us something.
Is it? But is it or is it not?
And also, what if, the loud guy is big and the person who wants it quiet is small?
But what if the loud guy's big and
the government has the biggest fist?
I think the biggest guy wouldn't win against 40 angry commuters.
The thing is, the people don't even want to, don't want to fight. I mean, even if you win the fight, you bloody your knuckles. It's like, you don't want to deal with that.
Of course, maybe the conductor. Maybe he should have the power to hit.
Conductor should just be a policeman.
He kind of is, in the fact that you can't hit him.
I know. Well, you can. No, they should just make conductors also officers of the law. Why not? Why not?
Do you want to give them that comes with a lot of extra power, though. I don't know if we want
What are they going to do?
I mean, theoretically, to become a police officer requires more training than to become a train conductor. However,
it would be double training and they get even more money.
See, I have this weird sinking feeling suddenly that train conductors have more training than police officers.
We could do is we could just have, instead of making the conductor also a policeman, just have a policeman on every train. Just one, maybe two.
I guess it's more, at what point?
I mean, sometimes they're on there.
Do we, in a society where now culture is fractured and people in a physical place very often have very little culture in common because their culture comes from the internet, comes from media, all these other places. So there isn't like this common code of conduct. Like, look at Otakon. The people in Otakon, by and large, act the way they want to act, and most of them are cool with that manner of acting. And people like us are kind of the odd people out. So we want all these rules to get those kids to shut up.
Mm-hmm.
And yet at the same time, at PAX,
I don't want them to shut up.
No, I don't want them to either. But we in our age, everyone but the two of us. Meanwhile, look at PAX. We don't want those screaming kids running around, and yet notice how there are no screaming kids running around, yet there are kids.
Well, it says, they're the 7 rules of PAX. We have those rules in place. That pretty much covers everything.
But at the same time, the rules never need to be enforced.
They're enforced. They're in fact enforcers that enforce those 7 rules.
But when you see punk kids running around causing mischief at PAX.
It's because the rules are actually enforced well. It's not like U.S. laws where they're selectively kind of enforced sometimes.
See, no, is it really? Because I don't even see them. Is it that they're being enforced? Because there aren't rules about being annoying punk kids.
Well, the thing is, right, as soon as someone... There is a rule. It says don't harass people.
Yeah, but it's not harassment to just be annoying.
If you're
just be that fanboy.
Yeah, it is.
That's not harassment.
It is if you're being that fanboy, but you're not talking to anyone or getting your fanboy on anybody, you're not harassing anybody. If you go up to someone,
so we should have a rule saying the fanboy can't talk to anyone.
Well, no. If the fanboy turns off his fanboyism, then it's okay.
So what if he can't?
If he goes up and he says, "Hey, you want to play Shay Geek?" and you just say no, and he goes away, that's fine. But if he goes like, "Come on,"
all right.
Then,
so say he does that, Scott. Are you saying that there should be a rule against that?
There is a rule against that.
What is that rule?
Don't harass people.
How is that harassment?
He's bothering you, and you told him, you asked him nicely to go away, and he didn't. You told him no, and no didn't mean no. That's it.
So what if he didn't ask you anything? He's just standing next to you in line, and he's a really annoying, loud fanboy.
Right, so he's just standing next to you in line.
He's talking to other people, and they don't like him either.
Did they ask him to go away?
No. And he's in line. He's not going to go away.
All right, so turn behind and say, "Look, could you please keep it down?"
Well, okay, so he's quieter, but he's just as annoying.
Hey, listen, no, really, can you like just?
You're going to tell him to stop talking?
Why not?
What the topic of his conversation is itself the annoying thing.
Oh, okay. Listen, could you please change the subject? It is grossing me out.
No, you're bothering me by telling me to change my topic.
The enforcers will just come and decide.
So you want some sort of higher authority to enforce your personal view on what is and is not acceptable behavior when no harm is being done.
Well, it's
other
only
than your
because at
personal
PAX
annoyance.
I know the
You
enforcer.
want them all to have the rules saying people can't fucking talk to people.
No, it's just I happen to know that the enforcer will pass judgment properly.
No, he won't. You know
Yeah, they
why?
will.
Look what happens at PAX. Anyone who's annoying, no one needs to walk over and say, hey, stop it, because the collective, zeitgeist of the people at the con makes people who are annoying feel uncomfortable and stop it on their own. I'm saying, I think, my moral is that society, in America at least, in the past, because the culture was more shared, and to a little degree, because hitting could happen much more readily, these two things combined kept very annoying people from being able to be annoying for terribly long. And now there are people, and I think we should bless these people because they're the ones who kind of remind us the price of freedom.
Who dish out hitting?
No. The annoying fuckers are the people who remind us that freedom is important because if we're willing to put up with them, we're able to accept the responsibility of freedom.
Uh-huh.
But now we've got people who want laws to basically stop the annoying people from being annoying. And we no longer have a tight-knit society that shames them into being quiet.
Okay.
So you suddenly have nothing to say about that?
I think I'm done with this. This has gone on for too long.
Has it?
Yeah.
Has it really? You like it my news to end?
I like it a news to end.
You sure you like it the news to end? Hey, listeners, you want to the... Okay, so things of the day.
You like it the thing of the day to end?
Maybe after I do mine. Do you
Oh,
have a thing of the day?
Oh, you want me to go first?
You can go first.
All right, so I think I'm gonna turn the tables on Rim, and I'm gonna use a video from College Humor.
Oh, shit.
Snap. But the thing is, there are actually a whole bunch of good ones recently, so I don't know which one to pick. But
It's hard to say. I mean, some of them are old, but it's one of those, if it's new to me.
yeah, I'm gonna pick this one that's actually a College Humor original. So it was made by the College Humor people. So
College Humor originals are really on the internet. They're like, if you pre-seeing, there's post-seeing is different. I mean, anything that is good, but pre-seeing, on average, a College Humor original will beat pretty much any other random video on the internet.
well, they're professionals.
Yeah.
But anyway, so this video it depicts some metal dudes from Norway, and apparently they're Satanists, and they have pictures for Christians.
Pictures for Christians.
And they have many pictures that they want Christians to see that they think Christians don't want to see because they are Satanists and they like Satan because he's awesome. And you should watch this video.
It's pretty damn good. It is. Your video is not stuttering. It is that way on purpose. It
That's
is a
Satan
slideshow.
Club.
All right. So there's a man, a very famous man. I'm not talking
Was a
about
man
I'm not
in
talking about
Russia
Henry
long
Earl.
ago.
because Henry Earl is
He
awesome.
was big
and sad
strong
in a different
and his
way.
eyes are flaming.
But this is another Fark man, and I talked about him before. I used him as a news or a thing of the day. His name is Tribbett. Patrick Tribbett.
Is that his real name?
Yes, Patrick Tribbett.
His parents gave him that name?
I guess.
All right.
He was the paint huffing guy. You know that guy.
Oh, that guy who had the gold paint all over his
Yes,
face.
and the Warriors shirt and the kind of crooked smile.
All right.
And then he was on Fark. He's like one of the most, there was a little award that Fark made up for itself of the pixels of the gold paint on his mouth as the most replicated pixels from 2001 to 2005.
So he's the new Henry Earl?
No, he's been around for a while. Him and Henry Earl were kind of parallel tracks.
Why don't they get Henry Earl and him together in real life?
So here's the story. This guy was sad and funny because of this picture of him in the Warrior shirt with the gold paint. And he made Fark again later because his life was in shambles. I mean, if you're huffing paint, that's pretty much the bottom.
It's like you didn't even get enough money to buy drugs, you druggie. You went to the Home Depot and you got a can of spray paint for $5 because that's all you could afford.
I mean, you can't even get a crack pipe and some crack.
Yeah.
So he saw the picture and all the fun that was made of him on Fark and cleaned up his life.
How did he find it?
Someone recognized him and showed it to him.
Uh-huh.
And he got help, and there was this whole Fark article later, and Fark was proud of him. I was proud of him. There were pictures of him smiling and running and working out, and he talked about how seeing that picture made him realize how low he'd sunk, and he fixed his life.
Maybe all we need to do to go at rehab places is they just take a picture of you and show it to you after it just they hold
So,
you
Scott,
you in a room until you're sober and then show you what you looked like when you were disgusting.
Rehabilitating himself was my thing of the day like a year ago.
Oh, I didn't remember.
My new thing of the day is a picture of him from a couple days ago, arrested, huffing paint. He looks so much sadder now.
Wow.
Even Fark didn't have the heart to make. Well, one guy made fun of him. It showed the picture of him happy, smiling, running on the track, having fixed his life, and they photoshopped in a guy handing him some paint. But the Fark thread was basically, wow, this is actually kind of sad. I was pulling for him.
Yeah, I mean, what does it mean? I mean, should we even bother with rehab? I mean,
recidivism rates are pretty high. The worst
they're
part
really
is
high.
I'm going to read, this is how sad it gets. I'm going to read the last paragraph of the article describing this.
All right.
Officials say they don't know why Tribbett, who is from Wheeling, was in New Martinsville.
Because that's what the Home Depot was.
Yeah, and apparently leading up to this, he was arrested in several other Ohio Valley towns for huffing paint.
Oh, he's from Ohio.
Well, I think actually, I've got the answer to your question.
Leave Ohio.
Yes, leave Ohio.
Go somewhere where there's something to do besides huff paint.
So,
and look at your 3 buildings.
Meta moment.
You like the meta moment? Meta moment. Book club.
Yeah, the book club is The Golden Apples of the Sun by Ray Bradbury. It's a collection of short stories. They're all science fiction. Like I said, they are 2 to 3 pages. I think one of them is
how
6
many
pages.
are there?
Like 15.
Okay, that's not bad.
It's a short book of short stories.
What else? Conventions. PAX. New York Anime Festival, New York Comic Con,
Yes.
Combo Con.
We will be there. We'll be doing stuff.
There's 10-10-10, which I don't
Also
know
that weekend.
Same weekend.
Yep. It's Thursday. We're only get into all that. But the PAX one's the big one. We're doing our 3 panels. And of course, the biggest part, we are the hosts of PAX Late Night. We've got Alex Albrecht coming on the show as our guest. We've got...
It's Albrecht.
Yep.
Echt. Not E.
Echt. I said Echt.
You said Icht.
I said Echt.
You said Albrecht.
Albrecht.
Anyway.
We've got John St. John.
Maybe we should. I feel like we should have kept that secret, but then he put it in the con book. So
Yeah, it was in the con book before we announced it. So
before we even had it confirmed, it was confirmed today.
Yeah.
What if it didn't happen, but it was in the con book? That would have been the worst.
It was confirmed.
We would have had to start bribing him.
See, the only thing that wasn't confirmed was I had not bought his plane tickets yet.
Yeah, but it could have fallen through.
That could have fallen through.
It wasn't 100% locked in.
If that had fallen through, it would have fallen through due to Expedia and not due to him not wanting to come. And we've got 3 of the Rooster Teeth guys.
Mm-hmm.
And we haven't. No one has announced it yet, so I'm not going to announce it. We have a musical act.
Oh,
It's pretty rocking.
We should keep whatever secrets we are able to keep, I guess.
That is. We have one more secret. We have the.
I'll give you a hint. It is not a musical act that is performing at a PAX concert.
Well.
At least not the Friday night concert.
Yes, not the Friday night one, but I could foresee a walk-on Saturday.
Yes, but it is not. Okay, it is not listed as being officially a part of any of the PAX concerts.
No, it is not. In fact, while I'm sure that I've gotten this person a fancier badge, they had on their own...
You gave away that it was one person.
I gave away that she is one person
Uh-oh, you're giving away too many hints.
But I don't know if she prefers Kirk or Picard.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. We have one other secret. There is a video that will be screened at this that no one in the world, except for the people who made it, have seen before. And I'm not even going to say who made it.
I think that there may be multiple opportunities to see this video at PAX.
There will be at least 2.
But you're probably not going to see it anywhere but PAX, at least not for
I
a
would
while.
suggest you come to the PAX Late Show taping and then go to the panel where they will screen the same video.
Well, actually...
And spoil it.
Actually, if... isn't the PAX Late Show going to be recorded and then put on the internets as in video form?
It is going to be recorded Friday night, and it should be streamed out. I'm working on the final details of that Saturday night.
So won't they be people at home who are not at PAX be able to see this video and the rest of the Late Show and the musical act on Saturday night on the internet
Why, yes,
for free.
in fact, for the first time ever, it looks like if you did not get to attend PAX, you will get to attend at least one PAX event from the comfort of your own home.
It will not be live, but it will be slightly delayed, and you will not have to buy a DVD. So how about that?
So we've both at least now finally seen the Scott Pilgrim movie.
Oh, yeah, we have. And it's a movie.
Yeah. I have no complaints about it, to be perfectly honest. We're not going to spoil anything yet, but this is kind of our review of the movie because we needed a Thursday episode.
Well, my general thoughts, I like the book better.
Of course the comic was better. The comic was much more complex. It dealt with more issues. It dealt with them more elegantly. But at the same time, the fact that they were able to condense all those books into one movie without making it feel rushed or feel like it left out something huge was amazing to me.
It definitely didn't leave out anything huge. I think the only problems I really had with it were...
It simplified the theme, and of course, they had to not develop really any of the side characters.
Yeah,
There's no way they could have.
The things that I like most are the side characters, right? And, the thing is, the movie...
especially Kim Pine.
Yeah, in the movie, right, it really... As soon as the fights start, it's pretty much all fights, right? Whereas in the book, it's fight, chill, fight, chill, fight, and the chill parts are so much better than the fight parts. But the movie was just as it's a big chill in the beginning, which is the best part of the movie. But then it was fight with a little tiny bit of chill, but not enough. And then there wasn't really much between the fights. There was actually some during the fights, especially the first fight. You got all the action like in the balcony, right?
Yep.
But there wasn't enough. It felt like the movie just fell down and became all fights, which were well choreographed. They weren't like the best fights ever, but they were still damn good and excellent and fun to watch. But for me to say, oh man, this movie was awesome, it would have had to have less on the fight and more on the hanging out in Toronto kind of action.
Yep, but at the same time, I mean, could you fit that into a movie? It would have had to been like Lord of the Rings.
Well, it would have had to been, like a trilogy, maybe like 2 fights per. But the thing is, we now know that would have been a financially infeasible.
I am kind of sad how poorly the movie's doing. But at the same time, I have this expectation that the long-term franchise of comic, movie, game combined is going to make bank.
Yeah. People have pointed out, though, that, you look at this compared to, some other movies, and it's like, oh, it's not doing well. But you know what? Compared to the other movies the guy did, the Shaun of the Dead and the Hot Fuzz is pretty great. This is doing better than those.
Huh.
At least opening weekend numbers.
Now, I wonder how much of that is Michael Cera drawing hipsters in versus Scott Pilgrim people.
Well, I think it's a tough call because, Shaun of the Dead, how many screens was it on, right? Versus, and the thing is, Scott Pilgrim's actually not really on enough screens. They said it was only on 2,000-ish, whereas usually a movie will be on 3,000.
Well, I noticed something, and I was asking some people. They seem to have only marketed it in major cities. In New York.
Here, I thought the marketing was crazy because I see it fucking everywhere I go.
Every cab, bus,
everything.
Every bus stop, in the subway. I passed 4 Scott Pilgrim posters on my way to work.
Yeah, but we went to the movie theater in the city, and it wasn't full, and it was only in one screen, and it wasn't the biggest theater either.
No, we went to see it.
And we went to see prime time, Friday night.
We went to see it in Philly, matinee showing. We were basically the only people in the theater.
Yeah. The thing is, I think the problem was they heavily marketed in the major cities, and people outside the major cities are saying that they didn't see any marketing. So in the cities, though, they had so many preview screenings. I think everyone saw the preview screenings.
Yeah, I
mean,
mean,
nobody went to pay for the screenings afterwards.
I mean, remember, there was that contest from Midtown Comics, which I won, so I went. And independently, almost all our friends got tickets to a screening.
Yeah. I mean, almost everyone that I know on the internet saw some preview screening. There were very few people a lot of people went to see it again, but that wasn't a majority. It was a minority. And of the people I know who have seen it, most of them saw a preview screening.
Yep. However, most people I've met who saw it thought it was fucking awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not hearing a lot of people who saw it say it was no good, which is usually the sign of a cult movie, right? A movie where the people who've seen it go, oh man, that's the best. And other people just haven't seen it. There's not really a lot of haters.
Though at the same time, there are a lot of haters, but they're weird. They're all haters of the generation that spawned the movie. It's becoming like a battleground of our parents' generation trying to tell us how stupid we are.
I don't know. The other thing about the movie is that, in the book, best character, Kim Pine.
Movie
Right.
Wallace.
Yeah. And,
Oh my
well,
God.
Well, the thing is, Wallace, in the book,
He's great.
he was still the second best. But in the movie, he was the number one best. And then actually, right, characters that I didn't give two shit, not even one shit about in the book.
Well, like Julie.
Like Julie and Scott's sister in the movie, so awesome. Like the best. Like they should have just made like Scott, sister, and Julie the movie. That would have been so much better.
I would watch that spin-off.
I would watch that 10 times.
The only line that was lacking was no one yelled "smash her horsey face."
And then the thing is, Kim Pine in the movie,
She was good. She
it
served
was
her
all
purpose
right,
very
but it
well.
wasn't. But it wasn't even close, right?
Well, because
Whereas you look, Wallace in the movie was definitely very close to the Wallace in the book.
the best Wallace scene is that second text message. How does he do that?
That was pretty good. I don't know. I mostly like the drunken Wallace.
Yeah, and
It was actually, and the thing is, it wasn't just the scenes where he was making outward jokes. Like if you looked, like I saw like quite a few. He had some really good like background action. Like he would he sat at the bar once and just sort of like fingered at the bartender. Like come on,
Yep.
But it's like so it's not even in focus, and he's making the funnies.
But there was a lot of that in the background. 'cause
I learned after the movie that that guy is actually Macaulay Culkin's brother, which is kind of crazy.
Wow, I
Yeah.
did not know that.
Yeah, Wallace is Macaulay Culkin's brother.
Huh.
Yeah.
But
And he's really good at acting. It's like, well, look at that.
one big difference, and some people have complained about it, some people haven't, though, and it kind of falls into the fact that they had to narrow the focus of all the side characters. This was real. The movie story is really just the story of Scott Pilgrim realizing the mistakes of his past and becoming an adult and fixing all the problems that he himself had caused.
Yeah. Well, it's also the story of Knives Chow.
Is it really?
It's more story of Knives Chow than is the story of Ramona.
But
in
I
the
think
movie, at
really it's a
least.
story of Scott Pilgrim, and Knives Chow was his mistake.
Yeah, but you saw like Knives Chow had a full plot arc with where she developed, whereas nobody else.
No, but
really,
she could have no resolution, and she could not advance as a character to her conclusion until Scott fixed everything.
No, she had pretty much advanced there at the
No,
end.
she advanced to becoming an evil ex effectively, but
That was fine. That was
yeah, but she couldn't get past that without Scott.
She was. It doesn't matter. The point is that every other side character, every other character who developed in any way, either developed because they got killed and turned into a bunch of coins, or they were Knives Chow or Scott Pilgrim.
I guess it's more that the story of this movie, which it kind of, because it was a movie, it had to be succinct. It started with the knives thing, and it brought that full circle with Scott in the end and everything.
Yeah, well, Nega Scott didn't even really. He was just
Yeah,
he was just
that
a
'cause
joke in the movie.
Yeah, but the Nega Ninja,
Yeah, okay.
that was good. It brought it full circle.
It did.
And it
did.
brought that DDR game in the beginning back full circle.
We should play the DDR
I want that game. Oh my God.
Of course, it doesn't beat our Mosh Mosh Revolution.
No, but if that were an arcade game, I would play the fuck out of that game.
I would also play the fight, but that game couldn't really work.
Yeah, it could.
I don't know.
It could work.
It'd be tough.
It could easily work. Dance pad
It would
plus
have to be
Kinect.
like an Xbox Kinect game. And
Yeah,
it
dance pad
wouldn't-
plus Kinect.
It wouldn't be so complete.
No, you know how to
wouldn't be
make it
so
complete?
It wouldn't be so
Arcade machine.
It wouldn't be so precise.
Yeah, it could be.
It couldn't be.
It's better now. It could be.
Uh,
Oh, right. You weren't at the
give
shore.
it some years.
You didn't play Tanks.
What's Tanks?
It's the new arcade game.
Full of tanks?
Yeah.
Is it like battle tanks?
I'll show you a picture.
Is it just like BZ tank in a box?
It's versus tanks.
Okay.
It's pretty great.
Combat?
But it has a camera and it takes your picture. My picture
So does
was
Mario Kart arcade.
my picture was my middle finger.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Should have made it your penis. Or take a drawing of a penis and hold it up in front of the camera.
So, we're gonna spoil stuff from this point forward.
We
So
already
if you're-
did.
If we're gonna spoil stuff for real, possibly. So if you haven't seen the movie yet or read the comic, stop listening and go do both.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but the movie at least.
Actually, if you're gonna see the movie at this point, it probably won't be long before you can get the dollar theater.
But the movie definitely
Money saving tips.
Notice how like the moral at the end was definitely, it was Scott overcoming his own bullshit, and that was the primary story.
Mm-hmm.
And in the comic, that still was the primary story, but it was much more complex and much more elegantly done.
Well,
and
I mean,
all
it's
the other
our-
characters had similar arcs.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it's a lot more like an Urasawa comic, right? Where Monster is about this one guy, but we're actually gonna split off and tell you full stories about other guys.
Yep, Monster.
And
Every
girls.
single character you meet gets their whole story.
Right, but in the Scott Pilgrim comic, in 6 volumes, you get, not everyone has a story. I mean, Julie really doesn't do much, but, you got Envy, you got Kim Pine, you got some Wallace, you got all sorts of action going on with all sorts of characters, and a lot, they all do stuff. But in the movie, they basically shrunk it, not by leaving out, stuff, major parts, but by leaving out characters and basically turning them into, side people. Whereas before they were sort of little less than side people.
But still, I mean, look at the progression of Scott, say, in the comic, where it's almost like him fighting the evil X's is an extension of him as a boyfriend or a potential mate being kind of overcoming the memory of previous people the person had dated.
Mm-hmm.
You have to beat every ex-boyfriend of anyone you're going to date before you can truly date them. That's kind of something everyone has to do in a way.
Yep.
But at the same time, he was generating all of his own evil exes and didn't even realize it. And the comic got into that really well. Remember at the end where they kind of flash back to show you what all those relationships were really like?
Mm-hmm.
His memory versus reality.
Yeah, they didn't really. That's one thing they totally left out. At least for Scott, is the whole fact that he just didn't remember things at all in the comic.
But no,
and that was a major thing. Was he'd be like, I don't remember. You're like, do you even know that person's name? And he just did. He was like me. He didn't remember anything. So in the movie, they didn't have any of that.
Now I do think, however, the movie hinted at that. The movie definitely pointed out everything from the comic. Every tiny little detail was there, and it would allude to. Every moment of it was referencing the comic.
It's like they had a plate of bacon, but they didn't actually make the bacon joke.
But they didn't make the mistake that superhero movies often make, where they'll focus on stupid details and then make them important.
Yeah, but the other thing is some of the stuff that they put in there that you might have thought was out of nowhere really wasn't. Look at the part with the Seinfeld joke, right? If you look in the comic, right before they make that Seinfeld joke, there was actually some live audience laugh track in the comic, right at that spot, so you can't be like, oh, they just tossed that in from nowhere. It's like, well, no, really, look, you can actually see that was in the comic.
It was a movie where, much like to use an anime reference, Utena, everything is there for a reason.
Yeah,
because like you point out, people are doing stuff in the background. Kim does things and Wallace does things, and they're not the focus. You might not even
you
notice
see
them.
young Neil hanging out on the side, diddling around with the audio cables and shit.
Yep.
They put in a lot of stuff that was just, they only had 2 hours, actually 30 minutes longer than most movies.
But
right?
I note, and everyone says this, the movie didn't feel like it was 2 hours long. It just flew by.
Yeah, it didn't feel it. It felt a little bit. It felt like a regular movie length plus a little bit.
But I think it was because.
But it didn't feel long.
Notice how
a
the
long
transitions
movie feels.
were very comic-y instead of the Hulk movie where they tried to make it like comic frames and it just was terrible.
I never watched. I don't know what movie that.
Watch on YouTube. But look at Scott Pilgrim. Instead of doing something meta with comic frames or something, what do? Scene changes were just immediate. Suddenly it's a different scene. No kind of build-up or establishing shot. Just, bam, we're here. Bam, we're here. Scott's daydreaming. Now we're here. Now we're here. Now we're doing this. They cut out all the possible filler and just jumped from scene to scene to scene, breakneck all the way to the
sometimes it was they would jump so fast. You'd be like, whoa, where are we going? Whoa, hey.
I have to pee on her.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, what else can we say? Oh, let's talk about the music, right? So the thing is, when I was watching the movie, I was like, well, what's this music going to be like? Right? And
I like the music.
Well, here's the thing, right? Is
truck. That's been in my head for
the
a
garbage
week.
Truck song is good.
That's been in my head. I can't get it out.
The song that I liked the most, I think, was the Clash of Demon Head song.
Yes, Envy's song.
Oh, it's
Hello,
the best.
my friend.
And the songs that Sex Bomb sang, they were all right.
Yeah, but Sex Bomb is not supposed to be good. That was kind
no,
of the moral
here's
of the
thing,
comic,
right?
that they're not good.
I went and I got the OST on the Pirate Bays, of course, right? And I listened to it, and the Sex Bomb songs, they were still all right, and the Envy song was still really great. But every other song on this OST is except I guess there's a Rolling Stones song on there, but it's okay, whatever,
Nah.
big deal.
But I did notice in the credits at least, all the songs where Michael Cera sang, he really did sing.
Yeah, the other thing I noticed though is that the OST actually has all the Sex Bomb songs. I think they were written by Beck. right? Like they're his songs. They had him do it, so they're on there twice. Once the movie version, once the Beck version, and that makes me not want to pay for it because Beck is Scientologist jerk. And even though I like his music, he sucks.
I always forget about that.
See, the thing is, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt because everything I've read about evil Scientology.
If you're rich,
is that the famous people never actually see any of the evil stuff. And they have no idea it's going on, and I'm sure he would probably disapprove of it if he knew about it, but he's basically kept in the dark. He doesn't know about, Lisa McPherson or the Sea Org or any of that shit. He doesn't see it. It's totally hidden, and he only goes to, like, the celebrity Scientology center where everything is like a palace and is great. So, he just doesn't know that's going on, but that doesn't excuse him not reading the internets and seeing all the evil things.
People like that don't, though. I don't think they do. I don't think they touch reality that much.
Yeah, I don't know. But regardless, don't give any money to that guy. Even though I can't lie and say I don't like his music because it's good.
It is good.
Tom Cruise, some of his movies, really good.
Yeah.
All right.
I liked all the little touches, though, like when Kim is just flipping him off.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're right about the Wallace drunk scenes, though. Like, when he comes in, he's like, guess who's drunk? That was beautiful. That scene was...
Pretty much we should just make the Wallace movie, just all Wallace scenes. Every frame where he's in the shot, even if he's on the side of the shot or in the back, just cut and paste and make that
when
into,
he slides
YouTube.
in with the skateboard.
Yep.
Here you go.
Let's
also, one of my favorite moments was the first fight. I thought the comedic timing of that was very good, but then when they actually did the Bollywood kind of song with the demon hipster chicks.
Yeah. What fight did you think was your favorite?
See, the first one I liked because it had the I skimmed it and the demon hipster chick Bollywood number. Second one was good just because of the timing of Lucas Lee, like with the girls watching and and his eyes.
Yep.
I don't know. I like them all. Clashy Demon Head was just fucking awesome.
Yeah. I think that, the first one was kind of fun because it was the first one and it had all this, crowd stuff going on and the upstairs and everything. The second one was, which was the second one again? All right, Lucas Lee. Yeah. I mean, that one I definitely thought was the most comedic, not in terms of the fight part, but in terms of just Lucas Lee was so awesome.
He was. He's just like, hey, what's up? He seems nice.
Yeah, Lucas Lee was like the great. Just like for the comedy of the dialogue in the Lucas Lee area was amazing. But I think I would have to pick the fight with the vegan as terms of the fight action
because of the high five with the vegan police as they're leaving.
Yeah, right?
That was The audience at the pre-screening lost their shit when they high fived.
Really?
Yeah.
The
weakest fight I think was honestly the lesbian one.
Yeah, I think so too.
The build-up was good and the character was good, but they really just like, oh, we got to get this out of the way. Bam!
Actually, I also wasn't a big fan of the twins. I mean, the music was good.
The scene was good, but the twins were boring.
Yeah. It was like, okay, you just sort of, you didn't even talk about the twins. I mean, remember, the twins in the comic had the fucking super robot fight.
Yeah.
Come on, super robot fight. Instead, we got basically digital Pokemons.
We
got not Digimans.
We got what the Avatar movie should have looked like.
Yeah, they should have had the super robot fight instead. That would have been way so awesome. Thing is, I think it might have taken people out of the movie a little bit if they were actually super robots.
I did think it was
because
neat.
The movie wasn't, to have a super giant robot, you have to zoom out. Right, but
most
of the movie was very in. It was very closed. There wasn't a lot of openness. Even in the snow, everything was closed. You had trees around. You had the fences on the rails of the stairs.
I did though. I liked what
You're
they did.
You're in the small apartment. You're in the the coffee shop. They didn't even do a lot of Toronto street action.
Not really.
They were out on the street outside of the apartment. They didn't do the walking up and down the street situation.
I did like what they did with the Gideon fight and how it happened twice.
Yeah, it was all right.
Because it let them kind of go in two different directions. Because love, all right.
Well, if they would have gotten into like the glow and shit, it would have totally not made sense to people. It wouldn't, you couldn't get that across easily, and people would have just been like, "What the fuck?"
I still think I gotta ask Brian Lee O'Malley. Look at the way in the comic, at least at the end, the thing. I'm gonna try to not really spoil the comic for people who only saw the movie. The thing with the people hanging. Didn't that not look just like the Utena thing hanging?
I don't know.
I'll show you all the frames. I think there was some Utena inspiration there.
I actually read an interview with him where he basically he was like, yeah, when we gave the option to this movie, I expected it to suck, and I just wanted some monies, but then hey,
Yeah.
It's like he let them option it, and so he can get some monies, and he didn't care really. He expected it to not be good because that's how things go. But then when it actually was good, he was like, oh well, all the better. I wonder how he feels about the box office. I'm sure it's not hurting his wallet that much.
But it was good. The first Gideon fight when they're like, "What's the password?"
Yeah,
that was great.
Whatever.
And then I like how they actually played the entire scene out again the second time. Just for the
with
fact
the
that,
passwords.
Yep, but then just you could walk in and be like, "Your music sucks, your club sucks, you suck, let's go." I liked that. I like that directness.
Yeah, it's very good. Plus, it took less time to be more direct like that.
Of course, at the same time, it means I lost one of my other favorite parts of the comic is the whole thing with the cat.
Oh, the cat.
Just at the end when he's like, "You were in the cat. You were in the cat." He's like, "Cat? The fuck are you talking about?" The cat's name was Gideon. And then Ramona's like, "What?"
Was the cat even in the movie
Nah.
at all? Period.
Nah.
Yeah, they should have just had the cat like in the background in Ramona's apartment or something.
If it was, I didn't notice it.
Like there should have been just like a dish of cat food in the with
Maybe
Gideon
there was,
on
and
it.
I didn't notice.
Yeah, they gotta have something.
But it's
like
amazing
that
just how faithful it was to the comic, at least like stylistically. Like when they make out the first time, how the pose of their making out is the exact frame from the comic.
Oh, absolutely. The other thing is that people seem to get this impression that Scott Pilgrim is like all video game references, right? And the thing is, the comic really isn't that much. There's a couple. I mean, the first one isn't even for many pages.
Well, I'd say
but if you watch the movie and you haven't read the comic, it's just video game I mean, there's some non-video game references, but it's constant.
A lot of the music
references
and everything were there too. They're just
Seinfeld reference.
The references in Scott Pilgrim,
anime, manga references,
both comic and movie, are
comic
only
references.
there if you are knowledgeable about the subject matter they are referencing.
Yep.
They are non-obvious unless you know.
Oh, absolutely. And the other thing is,
I mean, who knows Clash at Demon Head, but crazy gamers.
The other thing though is that I think that people like they might get some video game references, but not others. Like I don't think a lot of people have played and know River City Ransom. I think it's not nearly enough. So like if you actually watch that like Kim Pine animation on AdultSwim.com, it's just River City Ransom. That's all it is. Right? And I don't think people know River City Ransom, at least not enough. And River City Ransom is the one video game that Scott Pilgrim references more than any other.
Yes, Simon.
By a lot. Right?
It begins with a reference to it.
I know, but people don't know River City Ransom. So, the 1-up, they understand 1-up, they understand DDR, they understand, fighting games and, Street Fighter versus, but they don't understand River City Ransom. So they gotta, and not enough people do.
Thing is, it's a movie that's enjoyable enough to where I'm glad I saw it twice.
Okay. I don't know if I need to see it twice. There's plenty of other movies I can see twice.
It was worth it. Mostly so I could talk about it with people right after they saw it, because I couldn't say anything about it. I mean...
Yeah, right? Oh, I'm glad I saw it. I don't know if I paid too much. It feels more like something that is... this is definitely, it's like a Firefly situation, right? All the nerds like it, and then they sell DVDs.
I'll qualify all my feelings. I've said repeatedly, I have zero complaints about the movie. And that is true, because everything I could complain about in the movie, the loss of the complexity of the side characters, all those things, it would have been impossible to make the movie and have those things.
Right, unless they made, multiple movies, but that was financially infeasible. So there you go.
So for a movie... A single movie, I think it was as good as it could have possibly been. I don't think it could have been better.
It could have been a little better. What I would have done is I would have made it. I would have done Blasphemy, right? You ready? I would have made it 6 evil X's instead of 7.
Cut out the lesbian?
Cut out either the lesbian or the twins, or maybe even both.
I would have cut out just the lesbian.
Yeah, either one. And then...
But notice they kept referencing the lesbian. They had the lesbian poster up. They did the lesbian's joke.
Yeah.
Lesbians. Every time he's like Evil X's boyfriend, she's like Evil X's.
Yeah. But, then I would have put in more just, hanging around Toronto kind of action,
Yeah, but then the movie
and robots.
Then the movie would have lost the frantic intensity that it had.
Yeah, I didn't need the frantic intensity. I wasn't,
I
needed a break from all the fighting.
See, I didn't want a break. I just wanted steam. Also,
I did, because the part of the movie that I enjoyed the most was the before even any fighting happened at all. So if the whole movie would have just been that, and there was no fighting, oh my god! And even if it would diverge greatly from the comic,
in that case, they should have just made Scott Pilgrim the TV show.
Oh my god!
Just those people being sarcastic in Toronto.
Oh,
Once a week.
That would have been so much better. Animated. I'll take it.
I would watch that.
Oh, that's so much better.
Ryan Lee O'Malley, get on that shit.
Yeah, TV series, animated, just jerks in Toronto.
They could call it that.
Don't even make it like Scott Pilgrim. Make it like Young Neil and make a whole bunch of new characters who were just as jerky, and then have like old Geezer Wallace.
What do you play?
Hey, gay guys, come on my
Tetris.
lawn.
All right, I think we're done.
We're done.
This has been Geek Nights with Rim and Scott. Special thanks to DJ Pretzel for the opening music, Kat Lee for web design, and Brando K for the logos.
Be sure to visit our website at frontrowcrew.com for show notes, discussion, news, and more.
Remember, Geek Nights is not one, but 4 different shows. Sci-Tech Mondays, Gaming Tuesdays, Anime Comic Wednesdays, and Indiscriminate Thursdays.
Geeknights is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license. Geeknights is recorded live with no studio and no audience. But unlike those other late shows, it's actually recorded at night.